Yo, what up? How's it going? And welcome back for another video. Today's video, we're going to be doing a leveling guide for TFT Set 4. Specifically, this guide is going to focus on early game leveling and spending a lot of gold in the early game with an emphasis on the strategy of pre-leveling. So you may have been watching your favorite content creator, your favorite streamer, high level player, and they may say that they're pre-leveling, or you may see them just tank a lot of gold in the early game and you're not really sure why they do it. Or maybe you know what pre-leveling is, but you're unsure of when to do it, what the real strengths and weaknesses of that, and why it's working for your favorite players, but maybe it's not working for you, and maybe you're not manipulating the gold correctly. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So let's just get right into it. All right, so let's just jump right in. Here we have a table that I made. Sorry for all you dark mode users. No, it's blinding light, but you know, we're using Google, so here we are. So here's the table that we have right here. So the first table is just displaying rolling odds. The second table is showing the combat order and when to pre-level, do all these things. So what is pre-leveling? Let's talk about that real quick. So pre-leveling is just a strategy of paying for a level or paying for XP that you won't actually level that turn, but when the next round begins, you will auto level to the next turn. So for example, on my combat order right here, and we're gonna get real deep into it in a minute, if you pre-level on third PvE round, which means you just buy one XP value, which is 4 XP, you just buy 4 XP, it'll auto level you to level 4 the following round. So first PvP round of the game, you will be level 4, whereas everybody else who didn't do that will still be level 3. And the benefit of pre-leveling is that you have the rolling odds for that level. So for example, when we look at our rolling odds up here, if everyone's level 3, they can only hit 1 cost or 2 cost units. If you're level 4, you're the only person in the game, if no one else did this, that has a 15% chance of hitting a 3 cost. You can actually hit a 3 cost, and we'll talk about why that's important in just a second. So that's how these tables are going to work. So that can give you some background knowledge of that. Let me give you some background knowledge of my experience with doing the strategy, because I didn't just like see other people do this and just copy it or whatever. I mean, I did copy after I saw someone else doing this, but that's just like how you learn the game, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But so let me give you some of my experience with this strategy and how I've felt it work. So I have an account in Master. All my accounts are in NA. I have an account in Master. I have an account in D2. I have like 3 accounts in Platinum, and then I had an account yesterday that I climbed from nothing to Platinum in a couple hours, exclusively doing the strategy for the past 100 games or so. Like on my main account that's in Master, I spent the past 100 games doing this almost every single game. There's small exceptions on when I wouldn't do that, but we're not really going to talk about that too much. There's a little bit of nuance, but really I've just been doing the strategy, and I've been successful in all EOs all the way up to Master. And I'm sure it's fine in Master as well. I just haven't played much on my account since I hit Master on this patch. But the point of me saying that is that it's not just like something that works in high UO. I played on my account yesterday. On my new account, I played with my friend who is a new player to TFT, to Set 4, and I taught him how to do the strategy. We both did this. Nearly every lobby we first and second. Obviously, I'm firsting in the lobby because I play the game all the time and I'm much better than the players I'm playing with. But even him, a player who hasn't played very much, I was coaching him a little bit, but the strategy was working really, really well for him. So the point I'm trying to make is this isn't just a high UO strategy. It works even better in low ELO because no one else is doing it. And so you get to manipulate the odds while no one else is doing it. While in high ELO, at least half the lobby is pre-leveling most of the time. Maybe even the entire, I've been in lobbies where the entire lobby is level 4 at first PvP round. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's actually talk about this table and talk about what we are doing. Okay, so the key thing that we're looking at right here, and I already talked about it a little bit, is at level 4. At level 4, something really awesome happens. At level 4, we have a 55% chance of hitting a 1 cost. So we're still mostly going to have 1 cost in our pool, 30%, and then 15% right here. So if you're the first person to level 4, you have first reign over the 3 cost pool. And so if you're in low ELO, a lot of people won't level at all, or maybe 1 or 2 people will level, but they're not really pre-leveling. They're leveling on the PvP round. So you'll have a round of advantage of getting this. So the odds are a little deceiving. So it's 15%. It's 15% chance that those champions will be in your hand or be in your role. But the difference is, and the special thing about this is the pool is completely full. So you have essentially first picking. And like the best 3 costs to get in the early game, in my opinion, if you find a Jinx or a Kindred at level 4, you straight up win streak the early game. As long as you are able to get a solid front line before stage 2, or maybe get a solid front line on stage 2, then you are getting a crazy early and mid game carry unit like Jinx or Kindred. You can have Kindred in your comp all the way past 7. Or you could even be running a Kindred carry, already stack RE items on it, make a clean transition. Or you have Jinx who can actually carry your entire game, and you already have that unit. And you have first pick of that. I can't tell you how many games I've been in when I played on my Smurf accounts, or I played with my friend, and everybody's question mark pinging my board because I have a Jinx at first PvP round, which is not uncommon at all when you do this strategy. And if you don't pre-level, you have no chance of hitting the unit, and you just have a big advantage on everyone else. The other thing, the second time that we'll pre-level, and we'll get into when exactly to do it when we talk about combat order, is when you pre-level to 5. When you pre-level to 5, you actually have a chance of hitting 4 cost units. Okay, let me just tell you an anecdotal evidence. Yesterday I was playing with my buddy. He leveled to 5. Did a pre-level, and he hit Warwick and Ashe on stage 2 on the first 2 turns. Like, that's extremely high roll, but he hit Warwick and Ashe, and he was gifted a free top 4, right? He has the 4 cost hunters at stage 2. He's not going to lose a round until after Wolves. And so he's going to have a huge health advantage on the lobby. He can just AFK into hunters and free top 4. Now, that's obviously a very high roll scenario. Sometimes you do the strategy and it doesn't pay off. But that's just the game. You know, the game is manipulating your odds and put yourself in the best situation to hit the units that you want to hit. And so that's what that is. Before we get into PvE order and exactly how to do this, let's talk about Chosens real quick. And so at the end of this table, I just have listed what Chosens you can get. I don't have the specific odds on the screen because that's kind of a different topic for a different video. But just look right here. At level 1 through 3, you can only get a Chosen level 1, or a 1 cost unit, not level 1, sorry. You can only get a Chosen 1 cost. At level 4, you can get a Chosen 1 or 2 cost. Okay, let's talk about how powerful that is. If you didn't accept a Chosen through here, and a lot of times I don't unless it's like a Fortune Tom or a Brawler Tom, or maybe a Vanguard or a Divine Wukong, something like that, something that I know can carry my team to level 7. I won't even accept a Chosen, right? And if you don't accept a Chosen, you get to level 4, you have a pretty good chance of hitting a 2 cost Chosen. And now if you hit a Brawler Vi Chosen or a Warlord Vi Chosen right there, that's just one example. Your front line is massive. Or you hit a Moonlight Aphelios or Hunter Aphelios, you're straight gonna be in such a good position to get the level 7. Doesn't necessarily mean you win streak the whole thing, but you're in such a good position. Imagine you hit a Chosen Vi right here and a Kindred. Now you're not gonna have enough money to buy it, but you could just lock and buy this Kindred and buy the Vi. And that would be totally worth it. You would have this massive front line, and you'd have a mid-game carry already in the early game in Kindred and Vi, respectively. So, like that is just one element of its power, is that you can hit 2 cost Chosen. Okay, and then when you do the second pre-level, which we'll talk about in a second, you will be able to hit a 3 cost Chosen. You will be able to hit a 3 cost Chosen, meaning that at the beginning of stage 2, you can hit Kindred Spirit Chosen, or Kindred Hunter Chosen, or Jinx Fortune, or Jinx Sharpshooter, or Aurelia Divine, which maybe you don't really want to run later in the game, but that'll carry your entire early game. You can hit a 3 cost Chosen. That is insane. The games that I hit a Kindred Chosen, and it doesn't happen every game, but it happens at least 20% of my games. I'll hit a Kindred or Jinx Chosen or Aurelia Chosen there, or a Nunu Chosen, and I am gifted a top 4. As long as I don't completely turbo int the rest of the game, you are pretty much gifted a top 4. You could just keep that unit. If you don't know how to transition, which a lot of like lower elo players don't know how to transition at level 7 after Wolves, you could hold that the whole game and you probably get a top 4 just from having that. Especially in low elo, you'll get a top 4. Even in master elo, I'll hold a Nunu the whole game and just play a subpar comp which for example, Elderwoods aren't necessarily the best comp at the moment, I'll hold a subpar comp and I have just such a big health advantage that I get a free top 4. I can just AFK the game and just play that one build and I get a free 3rd or 4th place. If you just don't feel like playing the game and you just feel like gaining some elo, then it's very, very easy. You don't even have to be good at the game if you hit the unit right there. Okay, let's talk about, next thing we're gonna talk about is how to actually do the strategy. So we're gonna talk about the combat order. And then after that, let's talk about some like strengths and weaknesses and what to do when you low roll, that type of stuff. We won't spend a whole lot of time on that because we're really just talking about manipulating the odds, but I don't wanna have people commenting below or tagging me and talking about how this made them get 8th or whatever, because it's not a foolproof plan. There's an element of risk involved, and I'll talk about how to mitigate that risk and what to do when you're low rolling while doing the strategy, because you do kind of tank your econ in the early game. Okay, so let's talk about combat order. So combat order, you're gonna have a PvE, you're gonna have 3 PvEs, right? You're gonna be level 1, level 2, level 3. You're gonna auto level to those things. Okay, on the last PvE round, do whatever you can to pre-level with 2 4 XP, which basically means at level 3, you're going to be at 0 XP and you just buy one thing of 4 XP and that'll put you to 4 XP. It'll put you at 4 out of 6. So you'll auto level in the next round. Okay, the situations where I don't do this pre-level, I try to do it every single game just for science, you know, and because I really like doing it. If you get a 2 gold start, sometimes it's pretty difficult to do this and you're especially going to tank your econ pretty heavily, but I have tried just doing it, of just like having 2 units in, and 2 units can survive this round. Like I'll just have like Garen and Wukong in and I'll sell the rest of my bench and I'll just pre-level, and if I hit a Vi Chosen next turn, boom, we're good. But that would be a pretty low roll way to do this. You can totally do that. I'm not saying not to do that, but I'm also not recommending to do that because it is very risque. It is very risky, but I've been doing it when I get a 2 gold start and it's still been working out fine for me. But it will put you in a tough position, especially if you don't hit the units that you need to hit right after that or at level 5. It can get really dicey. Okay, so so yeah, that's when you do that. And so you'll pre-level and then you'll be level 4 on the first PvP round, which will give you these odds, right? So that's the purpose of what you're doing. If you get a 6 gold start, this shit is so easy to do. But if you get a 2 gold start, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult, but I've been doing it and it's been working out for me. And I would imagine anybody watching this video, it's probably below master. So it's been working out for me in master elo. Okay, and then the next PvP round, you'll just be at 4. And then the last PvE round before Carousel starts for stage 2, you're gonna pre-level to 8 HP, 8 XP. I don't know why I have 6, but whatever. Pre-level to 8 XP, which if you already paid for a level up here, it'll just be buying one more thing of XP. And so you're probably gonna be at 0 gold here whenever you do this. If you had a 2 gold start, you will for sure be at 0 gold. Some games, if I win streaked the early game, like I won all the first 2 PvP rounds, and I don't have a chosen yet, then I can be at 8 XP while also being at 10 gold. It's okay if you're not at 10 gold here. You're gonna lose a lot of gold, but it's okay. I'm telling you, it's okay, it's fine. I do it every game. Most games, I'm not able to make econ right here. I'm just trying to play strongest board, and which is very important right now for getting to level 7. You need to be healthy or you need to be rich. But I prefer being healthy over being rich. But sometimes if you're healthy and rich because you win streaked. But, you know, whatever. Okay, so you're going to pre-level to 8 XP here. I don't know why I had 6 right there. And that'll cause, after carousel round, you'll be level 5, which will give you these odds of 45% of 1 cost, 30% for 2 costs, 20% for 3 costs, 20% by the way, and 5% for 4 costs. You can hit an Ashe or a Jhin. I have hit Ashe and Jhin right here, or Warwick, or Shin, or Sejuani. It is disgusting when you hit those things. But the other big thing is you get that 3 cost chosen. You can get a 3 cost chosen. And that's what we talked about earlier. Okay, so let's talk about if you're low rolling this. So let's say you did your, well, obviously the high roll thing would be getting a Kindred and like a Vi chosen at this round. And then you get like a Jhin or a Jinx or something, or Sejuani at the next thing, and you're just like crazy strong. You have late game units already in the early game. That'd be high rolling the build. And now you just win streak, you recover your econ really easily. Boom, bam, boom, Bob's your uncle. You're doing fine. Okay, let's talk about what if you're low roll. What if you level to here and you still don't have a chosen, you don't hit a 2-cost chosen, you don't hit a really good 1-cost chosen, and now you lose the first PvP rounds and you're at 92 health, which would be, if you lost all the rounds, probably be around 92 health. So let's say you're at 92 health, you go to the next PvP round after Carousel, you're level 5 now, and you are only hitting, or you still don't have a chosen, okay? And you did not hit like Kindred, and your front line is weak, and now you're just losing every round. Okay, this is recoverable. This is recoverable. I don't even mind being in this position, but it's very important when you're in this position to not accept a 1-cost chosen anymore. If you're stage 2 at level 5, I'm gonna say this definitively, you do not wanna accept a 1-cost chosen. If you end up having the lose streak all the way to Krugs and you get to, 70 HP, which feels really bad, that's gonna feel really scary, especially to like a newer player, or, you just really don't wanna be in that position. But you're gonna recover your econ from lose streaking, and let's say by that time, you hit a Kindred chosen, okay? You have a really good odds of hitting these. Sometimes I'll accept a 2-cost chosen, like a Shade Z chosen. If I'm really leaking really hard and it doesn't look like it's gonna happen, hit that. But the key thing is you don't wanna take a weak chosen at that point. Like, you don't wanna take a Vayne chosen. If you're at level 5, stage 2, you tank your econ to get some good units, you didn't get them, well, you gotta just kind of all in on this strategy now. But this is not a bad position to be in. I've won so many games where I've been at like 68 health after Krugs, which is a terrible position to be in, because next turn I hit Sharpshooter Jinx, I first place the lobby, right? So it's not a bad position to be in. Sometimes I prefer to be in a position because I have access to chosens when other people have like Maokai Brawler chosen, which is a great early game chosen. And I would have loved to have that at level 3. I would have loved to have that chosen because that gives me a free early game. But my early game is already bad, and I recovered my econ from tanking my gold, and now I have a Jinx chosen, so I first place the lobby. So there's ways to play with this as low roll, but I would recommend if you're low rolling, if you're really low rolling the strategy and you are tanking a lot of HP, do not accept a 1-cost chosen. Do not do that. Accept only a big boy chosen. Even if it's something as weak as like Brawler Vi chosen, like Brawler Vi chosen is amazing, but like at stage 2, maybe that's a little bit weaker than what you would want, like opposed to like a Kindred or a Jinx chosen. But I'll accept that chosen sometimes too if it's going to stabilize my early game. But you're in a pretty decent position to get a late game chosen at stage 2 if you are low rolling the build. So don't fret if you're low rolling the build. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much everything. There's not much more for me to talk about this. I do this strategy nearly every single game. It's been working out for me. A lot of other players do it, like Keen does this. That's who I first watched do this. I mean, I've known about pre-leveling forever. I mean, people have been pre-leveling since auto chess. But anyways, so he's been doing this strategy a lot. I've been doing it every single game. It's been working out for me. Hopefully it can work out for you, and hopefully this helped explain this to you. Anyways, gonna do some shameless promotion real quick. I stream nearly every day, at least 5 days a week on twitch.tv/TrajanTFT. So if you guys want to catch me there, please do. I'm very committed to streaming, and probably will just be doing guide videos like this just whenever I feel like there's a good topic to talk about, or something I found that's working really well that I think I can teach other players. Because when I was playing in low elo, almost nobody was doing this, and I was just like, my friend who doesn't even know how to play was just abusing them because he knew how to do the strategy because I was teaching him how to do it while we were playing. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it. Catch me on my stream. Thanks for watching the video. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, all the YouTube stuff you're supposed to say. Anyways, that's it. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.